My mother placed the last bag of my clothes outside my room and said, "Rachel has 2 children. She needs this room more than you do. She has a family. You don't have anything." Rachel stood beside the door, smiling. She spun the key to her white Cadillac around one finger. "And don't forget my car payment on Monday," she said. "You lost your job, not me." I looked at the clock. It was 8:17 p.m. My name is Emma Collins. I was 34 and lived with my mother, Linda, in Columbus, Ohio. At least I did until that night. Earlier that morning, my position as operations director at Northline Distribution had been eliminated. My boss, Derek, called me into a conference room and explained that the company was restructuring. "This isn't about your performance," he said. "It's a business decision." The HR manager handed me a document. I read it, signed it, and returned to my desk. I collected 2 notebooks, my phone charger, and a framed photograph. I left an open bag of almonds in the bottom drawer. My fuel light was on when I reached the parking lot, but I drove home first. Mom was thawing frozen chicken in the kitchen sink. I told her my position had been eliminated. Her first question was, "Who's going to pay the mortgage now?" "I'll take care of it." "How?" "You don't have a job." "I have savings." "How much?" I didn't answer. My morning coffee had gone cold in its travel mug. I poured it down the sink and went upstairs. An hour later, Rachel arrived with her husband, Jason, and their 2 children. No one asked if I was okay. Jason said, "Rough day," then went into the living room to watch basketball. Mom and Rachel talked in the kitchen. I stood near the stairs and heard everything. The rent on Rachel's townhouse was increasing. She wanted to move her family into Mom's house. Jason would help with the mortgage, she claimed, although he hadn't paid a single bill consistently in 3 years. A few minutes later, Mom called me to the dining table. "Rachel is moving in next week," she said. "Her children will use your room." "Where will I live?" "You can sleep on the couch for a few days, then find a studio apartment. I pay the mortgage on this house." "You used to," Rachel said. "Now you're unemployed." I reminded them that I had paid the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and most of the repair costs for 6 years. "That was your choice," Mom said. "I never forced you." That wasn't true. On the 1st of every month, she sent the same message, "House payment due." There was never a please or a thank you. I didn't argue. Mom pulled my clothes from the closet while Rachel emptied my dresser. My books went into plastic storage bins. Rachel placed her daughter's hair clips in my top drawer, as if I had already left. I packed my clothes into black trash bags and put my important documents in my suitcase. Rachel's Cadillac Escalade had been financed in my name because her credit was terrible. She had promised to reimburse me each month. In 11 months, she hadn't made a single payment. "The loan is in my name," I said. She laughed. "Then you should be even more worried about paying it." I loaded 3 bags and a box into my car. A light rain had started. "Remember to return your house key," Mom called from the doorway. I didn't respond. I filled my tank and drove north. 50 minutes later, I turned onto a private road near Hoover Reservoir. My home stood at the end of the driveway, 4 bedrooms, large glass windows, a wooden deck overlooking the lake, and an office in the basement. I had bought it 9 months earlier for $2.4 million. I hadn't told my family. Mom would have claimed the bedroom with the best view. Rachel would have picked out 2 rooms for her children, and Jason would have started planning to keep a boat at my dock. I opened the front door. The house was silent. A grocery list lay on the kitchen counter in my handwriting: eggs, coffee filters, dish soap. I left my suitcase in the bedroom and opened my laptop. My position at Northline had been eliminated, but I wasn't unemployed. 2 years earlier, I had founded Greymon Holdings with my savings and help from a private investor. We acquired warehouses and regional delivery contracts. I worked nights and weekends while my family assumed I was picking up extra shifts at Northline. 6 months earlier, Greymon had offered to purchase a controlling interest in Northline. The deal was confidential. Northline's executives knew the buyer's name but not the identity of its owner. On Monday, I would take control of Northline as Greymon's CEO. Even Derek didn't know. At 11 that night, Mom texted, "Don't forget to return the key." A minute later, "Mortgage is due on the 1st." I replied, "All right." The next morning, I reviewed 6 years of bank statements. I had paid about $162,000 toward Mom's mortgage. That didn't include taxes, a new roof, a furnace, a fence, or appliances. Rachel's wedding, daycare expenses, Jason's truck, and the Cadillac were separate. The pattern was obvious now. Every time Rachel wanted something, it became an emergency: daycare, credit cards, a vacation, then the Cadillac. If I refused, Mom said, "She has children, Emma." As if a woman with children counted as family, while a single woman was only a bank account. On Sunday, Rachel posted a picture of my old bedroom in our family group chat. Her son's gaming poster was already on the wall. My bookcase was empty. "Finally giving the kids the space they deserve," she wrote. Mom responded with a heart emoji. I left the group and made 3 calls. First, I canceled the automatic mortgage payment. The loan was in Mom's name, and I had only ever been providing the money. Second, I informed the insurance company that the Cadillac wasn't in my possession. Third, I contacted an attorney. He sent Rachel a formal notice demanding the vehicle's return by 5 p.m. Monday. I was the registered owner and had made every payment. Rachel called 10 minutes later. "How am I supposed to take the kids to school? Jason has a truck." "You're punishing Mom." "No. I'm taking back something that belongs to me. I won't return it." "Then speak to my attorney." I ended the call. On Monday morning, I put on a gray suit and went to Greymon's office. After our board meeting, we drove to Northline. Derek stood when I entered the conference room. "Emma? What are you doing here?" Greymon's attorney answered, "This is Emma Collins, Greymon Holdings founder and CEO. Northline will now report to her." Derek's expression changed. "There may have been a misunderstanding," he said. "There wasn't. My old position was eliminated. I didn't fire him, he understood the business. But I did establish a policy that no employee would ever again be handed a box and given 15 minutes to leave." At noon, the acquisition was announced publicly. My photograph appeared on Northline's website and LinkedIn page. Mom called, then Rachel, then Jason. I answered none of them. At 4 o'clock, Rachel arrived in my office lobby. "You own the company?" "Yes. You trapped us. I told you the truth. The choices you made afterward were yours. Mom thinks you'll stop paying the mortgage." "I already did. She could lose the house. You and Jason can pay it. We can't afford it. Then find a smaller place. That was your advice to me." She went quiet. "Please let me keep the Cadillac. I need it for the kids." I checked my watch. "Return it by 5. The Cadillac arrived at my house at 4:55. The key was in the mailbox. 3 days later, Mom called screaming. The bank had requested income verification. During that call, I learned she had forged my signature to open a $90,000 home equity line. The money had paid Rachel's debts, bought equipment for Jason's business, and renovated the backyard. "If you don't sign the documents, the bank will investigate," Mom said. "Let them. I'm your mother. It was my signature. It wasn't my permission." After a pause, she said, "Come home. We'll give your room back." I looked at the lake. "I already have a home." The bank investigated. I provided the forged signature. Mom had to sell the house to settle the debt. Rachel and Jason moved into a small apartment. I sold the Cadillac and paid off the remaining loan. I didn't take anything from them. I simply stopped paying their bills. For months, they contacted me from new numbers. No one apologized. They didn't regret what they had done, they only disliked what it cost them. I blocked every number. The fourth bedroom in my lake house is still empty. The same blue blanket Rachel held that night is folded inside the closet. Sometimes I open the door and look inside. The room is clean and quiet. Then I turn off the light and close the door. No one needs that room now. Neither do I.